Hi, I wanted to do this video because I wanted to go over projection. I actually have had quite a few experiences with it myself, and I was just actually doing a blog on post on how to astral project. So this is something that can be attained by anyone, I believe. Um, and before I go into any kind of real details, let me go into my own personal experiences. I've had many experiences over the last few years, more memorable for me. I've always had flying dreams, however, and when I was young, particularly when I was a child. Now, I never remembered having astral projections when I was a child, but I think it's very possible. I know I've had these experiences throughout my whole entire life. I just don't remember them because I was asleep at the time. But okay, so my more recent ones, between the last 4 to 5 years, I've gotten to where I started to have experiences that actually started to wake me up even more than I was. The very first one I had was very scary for me. I believe what happened was I actually inadvertently got caught coming back because these are my beliefs. When when you go to sleep and you go to sleep, you're going to dream, right? So you're actually, I believe that when we lay down and we go to sleep, we're returning to source energy. That's why we go to sleep. Because we need to regenerate and gather that energy back from the universe and the cosmic energy. So when we fall asleep, we're actually pulling back through all the dimensions, all the way up to the 12th. And I believe this, now this is just my personal beliefs. This isn't, I'm not saying it's a fact or anything. It's just what I believe and what feels right for me. As we're pulling back through all those dimensions, the fourth dimension would be the astral plane. And then the fifth and sixth dimensions is usually where I believe we experience dreams in, and we could even attain, lucidity at that point in these dimensions. And then there are times also I believe that we're not dreaming at all, even though it seems like we're dreaming all night, where we don't have any dreams at all and we're just sleeping. And we at that point, I believe that we've pulled all the way back past the fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and all the way back to the 12th dimension or 13th dimension, or however you want to put it, whatever you believe, whatever that is, that source energy, that cosmic energy, that God energy, we've gone back to that to regenerate. So, but it is my belief that what happened to me in this first instance, I was actually on antidepressants for chronic pain at the time, and my sleep cycles were quite off already because I wasn't sleeping very well because of pain in my back. But what happened was I got to that restful sleep, and somehow my mind woke up and I was all of a sudden aware, and literally at the time I was floating on the ceiling of where we were living at the time. We were living in, I was living with my ex-husband actually, and he was sleeping right next to me when this happened. And basically, all of a sudden, I woke up. I was aware I was floating there on the ceiling in our bathroom. There was darkness, lots of darkness, but I could, at the same time, I can make out, like, it was actually the bathroom. I make out certain details to know, okay, I'm in a bathroom. So, I was so scared because my core beliefs, I was taught as I grew up, as I was raised, to believe that there is something evil out there that is going to get you or mess with you. And I immediately thought of that first. And it actually, because I couldn't physically move or anything, I felt like I was paralyzed. I couldn't speak. I felt like something evil had a hold of me, because in my subconscious, in my mind, I had already been taught to focus on that fearing stuff in your beliefs. So, but at that point, I was like literally calling out in my sleep, and my ex-husband had to wake me to pull me back. But that was my first experience that I remember, and that was so intense for me that was the point where I didn't know that that's what was happening actually at the time, but now looking back about 5 years later, that was the turning point for me when I, started to question everything that I believed. And I started to wake up spiritually. And then it was just a series of events after that in my life that just got me to wake up. And I am so glad that I have these experiences, because if it weren't for these experiences, I would still be believing the same negative core beliefs that I was taught to believe in as I was raised. So over time, I've had so many experiences, and then, like I said, that first one was so scary for me. But over time, I've been able to let go of that fear and realize there's nothing to be scared of. And now as time goes on, I am able to project myself out of my body and go through the separation stage. Now, sometimes I will consciously, or I will wake up consciously all of a sudden past, because there's usually 4 stages in astral projection. You have the vibrational stage, and then the separation stage, and as well as the exploration stage, and then the reentry stage. So now the vibrational stage is what is hardest for me. So I have been able to, over time, I've done it a few times here and there when I get a chance to. I try to, and it usually does happen. Now, it's really hard for me to get out of my body most of the time. And more recently, it feels like I'm having, slowly as I do it more and more, I'm having a little bit of an easier time of actually being able to get out. And I've actually, in the last few times I've tried, I've asked my spirit guides to help me get out. And the last time I had my most recent experience was only a couple days ago. And I could feel my spirit guides grab my hand and helped pull me out. And then I got out, but then I was stuck back into my body because I thought of my body, because the astral plane, the fourth dimension, is so thought responsive. You think a thought and you're there. So I thought about my body, I was sucked back into it. And that's the thing when it comes to figuring out how you astral project. You will want to go through these different stages and just try your best to be able to control yourself so that you can relax in your body and just let go and feel those vibrations as they come up, and just completely let go and be able to control your reactions to the sensations that you are feeling. And if you can accomplish that part, if you can get to a point where you have that control over your body and how excited you get, and even for me, I'm still working on this, even after you are able to actually separate from your body, and once you get out, you have to be able to have a certain control over of how excited you will get. Because if you get too excited, you will, I think, because it's happened to me so many times, I end up getting sucked back into my body again. So if you can be able to find that control within practice all the time, as much as you can, and then you will definitely see that eventually you're starting to have these experiences more and more. So the first stage, the vibrational stage, this is a stage where you will completely want to focus on your breath, just like you would if you were meditating. You're going to, focus on that deep breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth, and just focus on it filling your lungs and then coming out through your mouth and exhaling it. So you're just going to keep your awareness on this breath. And by doing so, this will help to keep your consciousness fully aware throughout the whole experience. So you will probably have some thoughts that may arise, and just like if you were meditating, you would just allow them to float by, kind of as if they're floating by in a sky on a cloud or something. You're going to observe them, but don't engage them. You will want to just passively watch as they come up, and then just kind of see them float by and go away. So it's not like a bad thing to have thoughts during this process. You will just be wanting to watch them objectively. So, and then you're going to want to set an intention and repeat a mantra to yourself. And when you do this, this helps to focus your mind on what you want. So, as most of us know, the law of attraction, this is in line with that. You're going to say, I am now out of body. So, and it might be a different mantra for you. You want to definitely choose something that feels emotionally good for you. So, And then at this point, once you get the hang of that, focusing on your breathing, letting your body completely relax, you will be watching for this feeling of heaviness throughout your whole body, numbness, tingling, or buzzing sensation. For me, I get lots of buzzing. It feels like that's how I would describe it. Lots of buzzing sensation or vibration. It's not just, it's vibrational, but you're also, I say, buzzing because you're hearing that sound as well. It's, so at this point, you're gonna, when you start to feel this, you'll probably feel it like in your extremities first, and you're gonna stay as calm as possible. This is where the control comes in. This is practicing. This will allow you to be able to control your reaction to the sensations that you're feeling. So if you can keep calm at this point, you will be able to just kind of relax and let that whole sensation just kind of completely take over your whole entire body until eventually it will usually start. For me, it starts in my extremities, maybe my fingers, and then my toes, and then it usually gradually works its way up throughout my whole entire body, from my legs going up, and then my hands and my arms going up, and then going into my torso, and then I feel completely numb in my torso, and I can feel my chest now my breathing has started. It's like my body has gone to sleep, and it's started to breathe as if my body is asleep. So you can feel that numbness, like it really hits you right there. So now you're just going to want to surrender to it completely, and just let it come all the way up to your face, and then your neck, and you will. This is what I find completely useful for myself, because I find at this point usually is when I start to tense up, and at this point I kind of just as if I were doing some third eye exercises. I would just kind of try to allow my face to completely relax all the muscles in my face, and just kind of let that whole sensation take over, and I kind of feel myself falling, like it's like falling deeper and deeper and deeper into my body, until I'm completely at that stage where I'm completely vibrational. I feel the vibration so much, and I'm like, okay, this is the time where now I need to see if I can get out. So now we're at the next stage, the separation stage. So now with this one, this is where I have difficulty sometimes. So I'm still working on that control part, on how to exactly get out. But first you're going to want to pick something, a thought that feels familiar to you and feels good, that you can align with. For me, I think, because usually at this point I am having a floating sensation or a spinning sensation. So it's kind of like, I'm like already kind of floating out there. So I kind of just imagine myself floating up to the ceiling. So at this point, you would take, say, if you were me, you take that thought. Okay, so floating to the ceiling feels good. Okay, so at this point you've chosen, okay, what feels good? I'm going to float up to the ceiling. You're going to visualize yourself doing this. Or if that's not feeling right for you, you can imagine rolling out of bed or sitting up and walking to an object. So, but also, I do want to tell you, like I said, the astral plane is very thought responsive. So do not, whatever you do, think of your body. If you think of your body, you will be pulled back in if you were even slightly getting out at all. Just like I said, it's in line with the law of attraction. Whatever you think about is what you will go to. So, like I said, think about where you want to go to. You want to get up and go to somewhere in another room or an object, say your couch in your living room. You think about that. You don't think about your body. You don't think about your body one bit. If you're going to think about your body, this will go on for a while and you'll never be able to get out. So just make sure that whatever you do, don't think about your body. Also, this is it's probably going to take some practice for you to really, get the hang of. So this, and the more that you practice, the more control you get. So you're just training yourself basically on how to get this control. And like I said, I'm finally getting to a point where I feel like I'm starting to get in more control, but then now it comes for me to be able to get out of my body a little more easily, and also trying to figure out how do I control my reactions when I'm actually out, because that's usually what is pulling me back in at this point. And now, like I said, you're with visualizing this, you can repeat another mantra. You can actually say, I now separate and move to the ceiling. So by saying that, you can repeat that quite a few times, and you can even ask your spirit guides for help. Sorry about that, that's my daughter. Anyway, so you can ask your spirit guides for help, and the last time I did this, I actually I felt them grab my hand and they actually helped me out. So, and I only started doing that in the last few times. So if you ask them for help, I believe they will help you. So, and then next is pretty much the exploration stage, excuse me, which is the complete reason why you want to even do this in the first place. My experiences have been so profound that they've completely changed my perception of reality in a whole, completely. But it's just something you have to, experience for yourself. There's really, like, I could sit here and tell you about it all day. If you've never experienced it, there's just nothing like experiencing it firsthand. But you will. Some people say that they see a silver cord. My experience, I've never seen a silver cord. Maybe it's just, I believe it's our perception of how our connection to our body. Maybe my connection, because I'm really not coming from a place of fear anymore. So, and I know some people, when they set out to astral project, they are coming from a real big place of fear, because you're like, oh, you have to be careful when you astral project. Well, thinking that you have to protect yourself will, in fact, probably attract something that might want to harm you. So, because you're already in a place of fear. So, if you're able to let go of that, then there's no worries. You're not going to attract anything. Don't fear it. And that's exactly. Maybe that's exactly why I don't see the silver cord, because I'm really, like, I have no more fear of of astral projecting at all. I know exactly what it is. I know what I can experience from it. I know how much it has helped me. So maybe the silver cord is, you know, missing. Is maybe I just haven't grasped it yet. I'm not real sure. But anyway, so to move on, at this point, which is what I have a hard time, I've already stated that, I have a hard time being in control and at this point and being able to keep myself calm. So if you're thinking, okay, so now I want to experience the kitchen or the living room, you think, I now experience the living room. I now experience the kitchen. Whatever, wherever you're thinking about, just repeat that. And then at this point, you will get that serious, intense movement because it is thought responsive, so it should transport you right there. So you just have to be able to have, like I said, that control and the ability to stay calm during the experience and trust yourself and the totality of the universe. So, and there's really no limit to it. You can experience anything and everything. And, you know, there's really nothing you couldn't experience. If you said, I want to experience India, you'd probably be transported to India. Sorry about that. My daughter. And if you wanted to just explore anything and everything, like if you want to, you could dive into your past lives. You could, do anything in this experience. You could have contact with a deceased loved one. You could get into the Akashic records and find out about your past lives. You could shape shift, meet your spirit guides. There's just so much, like, there is no limit. Let's just say that. So, but now after you've experienced everything that you want to experience, it's now time to return to your body. And for me, I find it quite jolting, actually, and I think it probably has gotten easier lately, but I still kind of snap back into my body sometimes. And then usually this isn't conscious for me, so usually it just kind of happens. But if you're one of those where you're like, okay, this is over with, I'd like to go back to my body, what you're going to want to do is just focus on your body and say, I now return to the physical experience. So I now return to my body. I think generally, if you think about your body, you're going to return to your body since it's thought responsive. So, but literally, it would feel almost as like you're falling into your body. Just kind of in that gravity, the force of gravity gets you. So, and I believe this is actually what's happening when you're going back to your body. You're actually, like I explained before, when we go to sleep, we go through all the dimensions, right? So when you're in the astral plane, you're coming back at such a high frequency at a fast rate that it's hard for you to adjust. So it does take some time, I think, to adjust to that jolt there. So, but anyway, that's pretty much what I wanted to share with you guys, and I'm going to go ahead and end this video here. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.